Hey guys, Dimitri here. Let's talk about the JB4. So I recently put in the JB4, upgrading from the JB Plus, and so my impressions will be a little different than what you've heard from others because I didn't go from stock to JB4, I went from JB Plus to JB4. So I can really identify the differences between the simple T-map manipulator known as the JB Plus and the full-on piggyback known as the JB4. Before I dive into that, I do have an InGen air intake in addition to the AFE valved catback exhaust system. I do have the performance pipe, mid pipe with that as well. Those are the only mods I have on the car at this time, and I'm running map 1 on the JB4. Although I have dipped my toe and flirted with map 5. But this review is really just discussing map 1. So what I noticed over the JB Plus when I moved to the JB4 is that there's not a lot more low-end torque. There's not a lot of incremental low-end power. But what I am noticing is that there's definitely an incremental hike in power late in the RPM range. And what I mean by that is with the JB Plus, when I was approaching 5,500 RPM, I felt like the car didn't really work for me anymore. There was really no reason to risk going near the red line because I wasn't feeling like the car was still producing additional power. It kind of hit a wall a little bit around 5,500 RPM. Now that at the JB4, what I'm noticing is when I'm going towards redline and I'm passing 5,500 RPM, I want to keep on going. When I'm sprinting to 60, I actually will take first gear all the way to redline and catch second, and it feels like I am getting additional power all the way through the power band, and that has definitely made it worth the time and the investment of putting the JB4 in my 335i. I do feel that the car is also a little more smooth. I can't tell yet. I can't tell you and report back if that's smoothness as a result of something changing with the shift points in the transmission. Maybe it's that the JB Plus was kind of making the car too raw. I know there's a lot of folks that say you're completely foolish if you think about throwing something that just manipulates your T-map sensor on your beautiful German engineered car. So maybe that has something to do with it, because now we also have other parameters that are being manipulated and bringing it all together to create a form of refinement in the tune. But I do notice the car's a little smoother. In terms of overall, when I put the JB Plus in, from stock to JB Plus, I definitely noticed that there was probably like 0.3 of a second shave off on my 0 to 60. The car definitely felt a little quicker, maybe like almost like 10% faster getting to 60. Going from JB Plus to the JB4, there's definitely not another 10% incremental difference. However, it's a little more fun to be able to carry the car to redline and feel like it's worth risking putting the car through that, because you actually get something in return. You get what feels like additional power. Other than that, the install was really easy. I would say if you're a complete novice in the garage, I would not worry about it. There's 3 connectors on my platform, which is the 335i. That's an F30 with the N55 motor. I'm an automatic transmission, rear-wheel drive. There's 3 connections. They're really easy to get to. There's a foam piece above your engine, behind your engine cover, that ripped when I did the install. It's really hard not to. I guess that's really common. That was the most difficult part of the install. Feeding the OBD2 cable down into the OBD2 port here was really easy, because the automatic transmission does not have a cable that runs through that grommet there. So I hear that it's a little more challenging with the manual transmission models, because that little area that you sneak the cable through, you share it with another cord that's already going through there. I think it's a some kind of it has to do with the clutch. So the if you have an automatic transmission, you don't have to worry about that, which is really nice. I think that's all I have for now. I'm getting my charge pipe and catted down pipe in the mail next week. I'll definitely do a full-on review to let you guys know what a stage 2 feels like. And remember, you guys, I've never done a piggyback tune before. I'm doing it on this car because it's newer and I don't really want to do a full flash on the car right now. I'm pretty surprised though that there's still quite a noticeable performance benefit even if you stick with the piggybacks. I know that a lot of folks think, why would you go with JB4 when you can go with MHD and it's significantly cheaper and it has so much more capabilities, yada, yada, yada. The truth is the JB4 does have capabilities that the MHD or the boot mods, that those do not offer. One, for example, is you have really easy access to E85 mixtures. You know, you can run an E30 blend on this car easy with a JB4. I think even some do an E40. And you can do that with the JB4, which is really neat. Something else you can do with the JB4 is you can take it off and there's not a trace. If you sell your car, no one has to worry about the car ever being permanently flashed, or you just don't have to worry about any of those things. You know, if you want it off your car, you unplug the wires, plug in the old wires, and you're good to go. I like that. And I do think map 5 is a little intriguing, that it actually learns. I haven't really explored map 5 much. I will later. I don't think it makes a lot of sense given the fact that I only have an intake and a catback exhaust system right now, but that's something that I will do later and report on that. The one thing that's a little strange is I bought my AFE exhaust because of the factory valve being able to be integrated into that system. I wanted the AWE, and part of me does feel a little, I feel like I made a mistake. I kind of wish I spent the extra $500-600 and got the AWE. I think it sounds better, and the AFE had pretty poor fitment, if I'm going to be all honest. Plus, AFE has not been great about getting back to me regarding the exhaust valve rattling. When the exhaust shipped out, there was a lot of fitment issues, and I think that's playing into why that exhaust valve rattles, which, by the way, other people have had the same problem with in the forums. For some reason, though, the JB4 has deactivated the exhaust valve on cold start. So when I go into comfort mode, the exhaust valve is still functional, but cold starts for some reason. Ever since I put the JB4 in, I'm not getting the, it's just the exhaust starts, the valve is open when I start the car. So I need to figure that out. I don't know why that's happening. I'll let you know if I figure it out. But all in all, JB Plus to JB4, biggest finding that I have discovered is that you get a lot more top end power and torque, not so much on the low end, and the car feels a little more smooth. And it was a very easy install. So I'll let you guys know when my when the downpipe and the charge pipe make it over this way, and I'll let you know once it's installed, and I'll do another update then on map 2 for JB4. Thanks, guys.